Hello everybody. After doing extensive research, I've noticed there's a distinct lack of male representation in the world of pole dancing squirrels. So today, in the interest of gender equality, we're going to be mounting a male pole dancing squirrel. So for today's video, I'm going to focus mostly on the key differences when you're mounting a male squirrel versus a female squirrel. Obviously the male squirrel has some particular assets that are fairly distinctive. So when you're going to mount a male squirrel, if the focus is going to be on the fact that it is a male, you're going to want to make sure you have, as my children say, a squirrel with a big old set of nuts. This is a good candidate for that. So I'm going to get this guy skinned, and then I'll show you kind of how we're going to make a new set of nuts for him. All right, I got this guy skinned out and fleshed and everything. So the next step is going to be to rebuild the nut sack. When you look at it like this, there's not a whole lot. It's not like a real distinctive little pocket like this, but if you put your finger in here, you can kind of feel where it is. If you push up into it, you can feel where it's supposed to be. When it lays flat, it actually doesn't show up much. You kind of have to hold it like this and you can start to feel where it's supposed to be. So to rebuild that, I basically just take some clay. This is just Crayola air dry clay. It's nothing super fancy. You want to build that up inside there. You can look at it from the first side. You kind of want to make sure you have enough in there that it gets the point across. You can kind of form this a little bit from the first side too. You don't have to make like real distinctive nuts with the clay now. You can finish that up afterwards. So you can kind of see how it fits up inside there like that. Now the hardest part with this is trying to keep that clay in there. So what I found works the best is kind of push that clay down in there, hold it up like this, and actually just sort of super glue this shut. And that seems to hold them in there the best, because otherwise you're dealing with that clay falling out of there all the time. So I just put a little bit of super glue on top of that, and then pinch that together. Try not to super glue yourself to the squirrel's nut sack. Just kind of leave that for a minute, and then that will keep that clay in position while you're doing the rest of the work on this squirrel. So it's not a whole lot of extra steps, but it's definitely important steps if you want it to look properly. All right, so I got the squirrel all mounted and sewed up and everything. You can see the nut sack is pretty distinctive already, but what you're going to want to do is you can kind of feel there might be some excess hide there, so you want to kind of work that clay up into it so you don't have any loose hide come around there. It's not going to look correct. So there's a little bit down here, so I'm just going to squeeze that clay and work it in there a little bit, and then with our tools here you can kind of shape it a little bit so that it looks more like a nutsack does. Something like that. So you can see a little bit of shaping, and it's starting to look more the way it should. Look at that. So at this point, we are ready to put this guy on the pole. Seeing as the whole point of this project is to show off that this is a male pole dancing squirrel, I needed to find a position that really showed off that aspect of this project. So if my wife is watching, all the search history for male pole dancers, I swear to God, is just research for this project. Don't think anything else into it. Okay, so this is the position that I found that I think is going to show this off the best. So what I'm going to do is start off, I'm going to drill a hole right in the top here. And that's where this wire is going to go into. Just like that, get started. And this one is going to go down here. So that is going to get glued in there, and then he's going to get his other arm there. So he's going to look something like this. So we're going to put the other hole right about there. It doesn't need much, it's just enough that you can have that wire go into the pole with a little bit of glue to help hold it in place. So that guy. It's more or less going to look something like that. And then I'm probably what I'm going to do is just reinforce it with another extra pin in here just to help hold that squirrel in position there as well. That's going to be the gist of it, like that. So I'm going to get this guy kind of all secured in place, and then we'll do the last little bit of tweaks, and then we'll let him dry. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with how this guy's looking so far. So I'm just going to do a little bit of tucking around the eyes. Not even sure, I don't think I even need any pins on there. Everything's sitting pretty much perfect as it is. So put pin in the ear here just to help hold it, because it wants to kind of sit a little bit off, but generally speaking, everything on this guy is actually sitting really nice. So put a couple pins in the mouth just so as it dries it doesn't move. Looking really good. So one last thing I'm going to do is put a pin right up Johnson. The reason for that is then you can kind of hold it and pull it out like so, and it just kind of helps add to the effect, so to speak. So that way that's going to dry like that, and I think it just makes it look a little bit more complete. So at this point I'm just going to put this guy in front of a fan and let him dry, and yeah, and we'll see how it turns out. It's been a couple weeks. This guy's looking pretty dry. Everything's solid in place. We're going to get these pins out of here. Careful with that one. There we go. This guy's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with the way he dried. So I'm gonna grab the air compressor and blow this guy off and fluff him up a little bit, and we'll add some paint, and then he'll be ready to go. For this guy, actually doesn't even need much for paint. I'm going to put a little bit around this one eye, just some black. A lot of times during the drying process, the leather part around the eyelid will turn a little bit light colored. So just take some black and just gently go around the edge of that eye. Don't go too crazy because you don't want the white fur to get black paint on it, but just around the edge. Touch that leather with the black paint. It just darkens up, makes the eye look more natural. Same with this one. I'm trying to paint this so you guys can see it. So it looks like I'm holding it in a real awkward position. It's because I'm trying to hold it to the camera, but also so that I can see what I'm doing. So get down in there around the edge. It's looking good. This guy's nose actually didn't fade out as much. A lot of times, sometimes like the nose pad will get pale during the drying process too. This one actually didn't discolor too bad. But still gonna take a little tiny bit of this light brown paint, just touch it up just a little bit. Just make sure there's some color left in it. And then even with the around where the paws are holding on to the pole, the glue is pretty minimal as well. Sometimes the glue will come out a little bit as it's drying, but any little bit you see, just take your that light brown, kind of give it a brush over, helps blend it in a little bit, makes it look more like it's part of the paw rather than just a bunch of glue. So, but overall it's looking not bad, so I'm not too worried about that. There, I think I'll let that paint dry. Brush out the top of his head. He's got a little bit of an injury of some kind. There's a little patch of hair that's missing. Looks like some kind of a scar or something like that, but not too bad. So we'll let that paint dry, and then yeah, this guy's done. Here's our completed male pole dancing squirrel. Really happy with the way this guy turned out, and it's kind of a fun twist on some of our more popular mounts.